It was the aftermath of World War II. The United States had no shortage of trained pilots and surplus aircraft. In Delaware, a group of fighter pilots and support personnel, who only a year earlier had returned from fighting Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan, wanted to keep their skills fresh and continue to serve the state and nation. These airmen went on to establish Delaware's first Air National Guard unit. On September 6, 1946, the federal recognition and activation of the 142nd Fighter Squadron took place at a ceremony in the Wilmington Armory. So began the 75-year history of the DANG, the Delaware Air National Guard. Soon afterwards, the squadron received its first fighter planes, F-47N Thunderbolts, an upgraded version of the venerable P-47. Later that year, several support aircraft were added to include 2 L-5s and 2 AT-6 to assist in the training of new pilots. 1947 brought the addition of several more airplanes, including C-47s and a B-26. The intrepid airmen of the DANG learned how to fly them all. Just 3 years later, the unit received its first jet-powered fighter bombers, Republic F-84C's Thunderjets. In May of that year, the unit was redesignated the 142nd Fighter Interceptor Squadron, and in September the unit exchanged its F-84Cs for the F-94 Starfire aircraft to fit the unit's new mission. In 1951, Air National Guard units were federalized for the Korean conflict. The 142nd was never sent to the Korean Peninsula and were released from active duty on November 1, 1952. A month later, on December 1, 1952, the unit was redesignated the 142nd Fighter Bomber Squadron and reverted to a propeller-driven aircraft, the North American F-51H Mustang, much to the chagrin of the pilots who cherished the faster jet fighters. Later that year, the unit received the latest F-86 Sabre jets, replacing the prop-driven F-51 Mustangs. In July 1956, Major David F. McAllister, 142nd Fighter Bomber Squadron commander, set a fighter record by flying his F-86 Sabre jet 1,922 miles in 3 hours 30 minutes to win the Earl T. Ricks Memorial Trophy. McAllister's strategy was to use a single wing-mounted auxiliary fuel tank to make his plane lighter and faster, and though he had to make an additional refueling stop, the increased speed more than made up for it.
He studied the route, and there's a couple of different strategies you can use when you're trying to fly cross countries and trying to set a record. The F-86, oddly enough, was a little slower at high altitude than it was at low altitude, so you could go low and fast, or you could go high and slow. If you go high and slow, you might not only need 1 refueling, but if you go low and fast, you might need 2 refuelings. So that's what he did. And we had fellows from the unit here stationed he had 2 refueling stops. One was in Nevada, and the other one I think was in Texas someplace. But so they practiced and practiced, and they did all kinds of stuff. It's like a pit stop at Indianapolis 500. The whole idea is to get down on the ground, get refueled, and get back in the air in 2 or 3 minutes.
In March 1962, Lieutenant Colonel Clarence E. Atkinson was named commander of the 142nd Tactical Fighter Squadron. On April 7, 1962, the Delaware Air National Guard enlarged to group status as the 166th Air Transport Group and was reassigned from the Tactical Air Command to the Military Air Transport Service. The Delaware Air National Guard gave up its F-86 jets for the 4-engine C-97 Stratocruiser cargo planes. On October 22, 1962, a new unit, the 142nd Aeromedical Evacuation Flight, was added to the Delaware Air National Guard.
The airplanes were convertible over into litters and so on, and it was just a logical thing to do. And it was a great thing for the unit because it's another mission. By the way, that's not the only mission we picked up. I think we picked up a comm mission and some other cats and dogs along the way. We went from a squadron to a group, and so the unit got bigger, the airplanes got bigger, the crews, everything got bigger.